Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mastodon Technologies May webinar on scaling up your digital transformation project into a full-fledged program. We wait for a few more people to join here, but if you have a question, feel free to use the Q&A function or chat to a panelist, and I'll be sure to cover any of those in the end. So just hang on a little bit longer for a few more people to join. Okay, great. So let's start off before we dive into our topic, and I'll take just a moment to talk about Mastodon Technologies. So we specialize in delivering intelligent automation solutions, which is a core part of digital transformation. So we've got over 100 clients, over 600 successful engagements, and we've worked with organizations at every stage of the digital transformation maturity scale and have helped guide the clients along those journeys. We're the world leader in advanced certifications in Appian. In fact, a few of our people helped to develop the latest certifications with Appian. We are a low-code business process, Appian is a low-code business process management platform, and we're an Appian trusted partner and reseller. And many of our practitioners also hold the highest level of certification in Uipath, which is an RPA or robotic process automation tool. And we are Uipath Gold partners and resellers. So now that we've given context of who we are, let's dive in a little bit to the topic. Actually, first, our presenters. So I'm Stacey Wright, your host for today's webinar. My role here is Director of Delivery and Education, and I run our Office of Delivery Excellence and our Business Process Architects team. I was just about to forget to introduce you guys. What did you think about that? Okay, so Martin, why don't we start with you?
Sure. My name is Martin Mock. I am a portfolio manager at Mastodon Technologies. I've been with Mastodon since 2017. And I currently oversee a diverse set of large and small to medium business clients utilizing both Appian and Uipath.
Sounds great. Nick, how about you?
Certainly. My name is Nick Frederick. Much like Martin, I'm a portfolio manager here at Macedon. I've been working with Macedon since 2019 across a wide range of industries, companies, big and small. And prior to Macedon, I did similar type of work throughout the defense industry.
Great. Obviously, I'm very excited about this topic. I wanted to dive in right away. But this webinar represents our third in the set of webinars about digital transformation journey. So we covered the first two, the preparation for the journey, and then Colin last time had a panel discussion about the sort of project aspect that we have here. This webinar dives into moving from a project into a program by using sustainability and coaching. And so imagine that once you have multiple projects that you're managing, you want to make sure that your team and your programs can scale up to get to that final kind of enterprise level. So again, for more framing of this kind of conversation, let's take a high-level look at a simplified program plan. These lavender lines here at the top represent projects. So maybe we've got a first project and a second project kind of overlaps it a bit. And like many Agile projects, you have multiple go lives. That's these white stars that we see here. So you might have several that happen for any given project. Now, coaching can start as soon as that first project starts. So this green line here at the bottom represents that first person that is learning Appian, taking the Appian training and moving through sort of a coaching path to get to full development. And then we have this teal sustainability stream right here. And this stream, can start right after that first go live and help the project team stay focused on delivering any new features instead of supporting what made it to prod and making the sort of minor enhancements to the existing application. So just to put context around what we're about to talk about, hopefully this visual helps as we dive into that deeper kind of conversation. So let's first start by talking about sustainability. Sustainability, this team is making patches for what it is that is happening in prod if there's an issue of some sort, right? They're handling that unplanned work and pushing that up through patches. They are also working to enhance to make sure that you're not losing any return on investment for the application as time goes on, because businesses change. You don't stop changing once the project's over, right? So we want to make sure that we can continue to enhance and make sure that you're still getting the value out of the project long term. As well as, of course, if there's additional changes that maybe they'll take a whole project that might be smaller incremental changes, that team handles that kind of planned work, usually with one product owner that prioritizes everything across multiple process owners, the people who own each one of the applications that did go to prod. And then they do this with scheduled go lives that are reliable. People can depend on, hey, this is when the next release will come out. So first question, guys. Have you ever heard of a business owner complain about MVP, the concept of minimum viable product? And I myself have heard this, where a business owner says, well, you know, the thing I don't like about MVP is that I will never get anything more than MVP. I'm only ever going to get funding for that first project. Has having a sustainability stream helped change that mindset at all?
Yeah, I can talk to that one. I think a lot of the confusion that we get around MVP are people who aren't familiar with kind of Agile development or are uncomfortable with kind of the iterative nature of Agile process management. They're concerned that the requirements they gather initially are going to be the only requirements that they do, that the development phase is the only development, testing, production, you know, that's it. That's kind of your more traditional waterfall approach. Really, what is key to this is understanding what MVP is. It's that and how it plays into an iterative approach. MVP is the point at which an application begins to return meaningful value back to the enterprise and is kind of mature enough to start getting feedback from end users. Now, what exactly the line of MVP is very determined, or determines very much on working with the product owner, the business, the project itself, decide what does it mean to have meaningful value. But once that's been negotiated, that's really where the sustainment stream starts to come into conversation and plays a lot of a big role in this process overall. And once the application has met this MVP process, it's in production, it's in live, it's getting live feedback from end users, from stakeholders, from sponsors. And what the beauty of this is that that feedback then feeds future requirements that the sustainment stream can work on and enhance the application and ensure that it grows and evolves to meet the specific needs of your end users. So you're not wasting any resources trying to guess what the requirements might be, what kind of development is necessary for it. You're getting that directly from the end users and growing exactly the direction that the application needs to do to return the maximum amount of value.
Yeah, I mean, that seems core, of course, to any Agile project, but, you know, projects end. And so this is a way to continue that long term. So how big of a team does it usually take? I mean, I assume over time they grow, right? But what size team is reasonable to staff a sort of sustainability stream?
Yeah, certainly, yeah. The beauty of kind of the process that we take and the technologies that we use, you know, oftentimes Appian, Uipath, is that you can actually start very small. You can have, you know, one consultant personnel on the sustainment stream, enhancing and making meaningful contributions to your application over time. And so what's great about that is you can start with that one person team, but our technologies and our methodologies allow you to kind of scale appropriately to meet the specific needs of your business. So as you have more applications in production, your program or enterprise grows and evolves, you may find the need for more. I will say, though, that we have a number of instances where we have, you know, up to 13 applications in production, high quality, you know, big, large applications really returning a lot of value to the enterprise. And that's a sustainability stream of 2 Mastodon consultants. So you get a lot of return on having these sustainability streams with just 1 or 2 consultants.
Wait, how many apps with 2 consultants?
That would be 13 applications. And again, like I just want to emphasize that these aren't just small POC applications. These are real applications that are in production, returning values, and pivotal to employees' workflows.
I mean, that's incredible, quite honestly. Do you feel like it may be based on technology that the Appian software versus Uipath software, is there a difference in the quantity of people that need to sustain that kind of intelligent automation work, or is it the same regardless?
Yeah, I can take that one. What we've found is actually there's not a major difference. So I think you touched upon this in kind of the intro, but Mastodon started off with essentially solely Appian development. And since 2009, we've refined our Agile framework, we've refined our sort of sustainability approach and really program-wide approach over the course of the years. And when we brought on Uipath as an expertise, we found that really with just a few small tweaks, we were able to adapt our processes to Uipath, and that essentially our approach is Mastodon's approach is technology agnostic, and really can work regardless of the technology, whether it's Appian, Uipath, or something else. And like Nick said, you can still start with a small 1-person team and grow from there as your program grows. So
yeah, that's great. So just taking a step back, looking at sustainability. So most projects, right? You have a product owner that is prioritizing your work, Agile projects in particular. And so you know what you're going to do any given sprint. You've got that commitment before you started, and that's what you do, develop and present at the end. But this is a little different, right? Because you do have those patches that can come in, unplanned work, that can disrupt your work plan, right? Of like, hey, this is what we're going to do. How does the team juggle that?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. There's some difference with this as compared to just I guess a typical kind of project where the scope of the application and you're just developing over a series of sprints. This is a little bit different, like you said, and what's shown on the slide here, we're trying to take the chaos of prod support issues and fixes and patches, as well as high priority enhancements, new development, and really what Mastodon's approach is to structure that input, and to really, I think one of the good ways of saying it is plan for the unplanned. So there are certain things that are dependable and predictable. We will have scheduled go lives for enhancements. We do still operate in sprints, but we also reserve some capacity for the unknown. That is prod support issues that might come through, might need immediate resolution and deployment. And so we sort of have plans for any sort of situation that might arise within a sprint, but at the same time, we also have sort of that predictable nature with these scheduled go lives. And so when a prod support issue, for example, comes through, we pull that into the same backlog that the team is working on for enhancements and new development. And we treat it really the same as any other ticket, depending on the urgency. If it is something that needs to go up right away, if it is a high priority issue that needs to go up right away, we have a structure for that. We utilize tools such as CI/CD, essentially versioning, and the kind of the environment configuration to really be able to handle anything that's thrown our way. And so we use also automated testing as another example of something that tools that we use and will encourage implementation or implement ourselves and help us to plan for the unplanned, reserve capacity, and really tackle anything that comes our way.
You know, you said something interesting there that I hadn't really considered when we were talking about this earlier, but the testing must be pretty different here, right? Because it's not like for an urgent issue that comes up in prod, you're not going to wait to do any sort of testing. Now, Agile methodology, you should be testing as you build anyways, but does anything change because these are larger, more established, you know, in some cases, very, very large projects, doing that kind of regression testing and making sure that when you push something new, that you don't break anything old that might be in flight, that kind of thing. What are some of the other testing differences there, and how do you use the automated testing?
Certainly, I can speak to that one a little bit. I think the main tool in our tool belt is something we call Fitness for Appian. It's an automated testing suite that allows us to build a series of suites to test, functionality, verified data, a very verbose testing suite. It becomes incredibly important, especially when you get into scenarios where you have 5, 6, 7, even up to 13 applications in production. You're going to be pushing changes. All these applications live on the same platform. They're in a vibrant ecosystem that is talking back and forth to each other, exchanging data, making changes to one part of the system. So as you add and enhance these applications over the course of your sustainment operation, you want to make sure that all of the applications continue to work as expected and that these new enhancements don't get in the way of a successful operation or successful progress of a different procedure. And so what is a key part of the sustainability stream is getting these automated testings through Fitness up and running and ensuring that Appian or any software suite is robust and evolves gracefully with the number of applications that are in your ecosystem at large.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, I think you definitely touched upon it, Nick. Stacey, can you go back a previous slide?
Oh, sure.
So I think you touched upon this, but in this diagram, ideally, something that we recommend when we're brought in for development of projects is planning for the sustainability stream, for planning for the maintenance and the prod support. And so right along, you can see the first line, the first project, the second project. What we encourage is to implement automated testing scripts, regression testing scripts, right alongside development. So along with manual testing, the individual user stories or functionality that you're completing, you're also developing right alongside that the regression and automated test scripts that when the project goes live and it carries down to sustainability, you carry those scripts along with it. And that makes the enhancements and deployments much faster and much easier. Whenever a change is made, then it allows, Nick's example of 2 consultants supporting 13 applications, it allows that testing to be done really quickly. And the regression test, not only individual functionality testing, but also regression testing to be completed quickly and accurately. So really something that we recommend, recommend right alongside. And the other thing I guess that I would add too.
Well, hold on. So what you're saying is that here, after this go live, they then make a Fitness script for everything that went to prod, where there was something already and they just tweak it a little bit and send it down to the sustainability stream. And then, each project as they build out and push, it goes, and the sustainability stream basically owns those scripts
from that forward.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing and the other thing that's also not necessarily on this diagram is Appian and Uipath go through quarterly releases, and a lot of times, with those platform upgrades, you want to verify that all your apps are still working together or correctly or accurately. And so those continuously evolving automated test scripts really help perform that check of, hey, is everything still working as expected? Yep, it is. Great. You might want to still do some amount of manual testing, but majority of it at that point really should be automated.
That's great. That's great. Well, let's move on to coaching. So there's different levels of coaching. I think that we've all seen out in the field that are appropriate based on what the individual wants to do and what the company needs them to do, like some combination thereof, right? And they each basically build on each other. So the support level where somebody can, troubleshoot a problem, look under the covers, know how to manipulate the software enough to understand what the problem is, but also know enough not to cause trouble, right? Oh, oops, wrote something additional to the database. Don't want that to happen, right? There's the sustainability type of additional work where you can actually go through and make enhancements, like the sustainability stream. And then finally, that development level that can build something from scratch, which is yet another level built on top of the other knowledges. So guys, what kind of factors have you seen determine what level of coaching someone should get?
Yeah, I think to me, the first question you really want to ask is, what role is the individual going to be playing within the company or the project or the enterprise division, et cetera? And that really determines the type of coaching that they're going to receive or that will be most effective to them. So are they IT staff that is going to largely be supporting end users, focused largely on the support role? Are they kind of a jack of all trades developer who's going to be providing production support to a number of applications over a number of different technologies? Maybe sustainability is the right approach. Are they going to be a full-time team member on an Appian stream? That's when we can get them the type of coaching that allows them to contribute meaningfully to the development streams on a day in full-time basis. And furthermore, if they're going to be in product ownership or project leads, things of those natures, we can tailor our coaching efforts to fit the specific role that they're going to fill within the company or the organization.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other level too is sometimes organizations have architects that are, need to be aware of all of the technologies that are in place at an organization. And so that's kind of another, kind of somewhere in between all of this is maybe an architect that wants to be familiar enough with not only how the technology works, what processes are in place, what guardrails are in place, what the best practices are, but also really wants to understand how the specific implementation fits in their organization's technical landscape, technical architecture. So
Yeah, that's a great point. There's a lot of different factors involved into what level somebody might need coaching to. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I know that Appian and Uipath both offer training. What is coaching? How is it different than the training that either of those providers or vendors provide?
Yeah, I think when thinking about Appian or Uipath training, they're focused on the specific technology, how to effectively use, the technology, either Appian or Uipath or whatever the technology may be. Where we come in with our coaching is we provide a tailored coaching plan that specifically meets the need of your company. So it's not necessarily specific to one technology or the other. It's customized to fit what is the need at your particular company. So we can come in and give, a much closer reading of what your needs are and tailor our approach and our coaching sessions to fit that particular need, as opposed to the vendors who are trying to kind of educate a wider population on the specific ins and outs of a particular technology.
Yeah, they have a sort of a broader approach. Here's what's possible, and then we can actually say, here is how it works at your organization. This is your box, not just everything that can be out there. But yeah, that makes sense totally. So similar question as the sustainability stream. How many people should a client have coached in any given technology? What's your assessment on that?
Yeah, I'll take that one. The short answer is it's about the same answer as Nick provided with sustainability. Start small. Really, you want to identify, do we have a need for a full-time Appian or Uipath developer in-house? And because, you are going to need to support that person throughout the year. So, probably start small, start with, 1 or 2 people. And as the program grows, as you have the need for more, you're identifying more and more use cases for automation and digital transformation within the company and the organization. And when you really identify that you have a full-time need for someone, then as the enterprise grows, Mastodon will grow with you and will assist you building out that team every step along the way.
Yeah, great. Anything else on coaching that either of you want to chip in? How much time does it take out of someone's day to be coached, for instance?
It's probably it's a decent amount at first. I would say maybe it depends. It depends on the coaching, but it could take up to, if it's, say, development, for example, it could take up to 75% of their time every day for a few weeks, depending on their previous skill set and their abilities, and once again what role they're going to play. And then it can start to tailor down from there, or to start to drop to a lower allocation from that point. But what, like, I think I said this, but like, we want to kind of be there right alongside you. And I think that that's what we've seen is most successful, because you're not just like Appian coaching or Uipath coaching, training is kind of, yep, you do it, you complete it, it's done. Coaching is a much more custom, I think, experience, and is going to be something that will work with you along the way. There's going to be an initial coaching period, and then as new development, new situations arise, we want to continue to coach through those situations as well, because we've seen it all. So we want to share that knowledge, and it's not going to happen in just a 2-week period. It depends. It's going to be maybe a few weeks of a lot of pretty intensive, and then as new things come up, as new situations arise, then we would address those.
I think this too gets to one of the strengths of our coaching sessions is, the amount of time will really depend on how the person best learns, or what the need of the company is writ large. So we don't have a one size fits all coaching, right? We tailor our approaches to most effectively use individuals' times and what would be the most valuable to the company itself. And so I think that is the real strength of it, is that if someone wants to be immersed in the development stream and that's the best way they learn, we can try and facilitate something like that. They need a little bit more of, a different type of training or a different type of exposure to gain that expertise. We can kind of facilitate that as well. We have the flexibility to provide the coaching that is best suited for the individual.
Yeah. One of the questions that I have gotten a lot from clients when wanting to have some of their resources coached is to figure out, how do I know what kind of person does really well at Appian? And so I'm just going to throw this out there. You want somebody who loves to learn, because Appian and Uipath change all the time. So it needs to be somebody willing to keep up, going to be excited about this opportunity, someone who's very interested in learning and keeping up with this technology as it grows and evolves, willing to test things out on the side. That's the kind of personality that you want to bring in. Otherwise, it could be a year out and suddenly their knowledge can become dated. So finding that sort of self-starter, I think, typically works best for a coaching kind of scenario. What do you guys think on that?
I completely agree. I think that that's definitely a major factor. You can learn all this, absolutely, and we've coached a variety of people, from people who have computer science degrees to people who are coming straight from the business and have almost no programming, and we tailor that approach depending on the individual, depending on what role they're going to play. And I think that you absolutely said it right there. Appian, Uipath, it is learnable. Absolutely, it is. It is coachable. It just, I think requiring someone who really is excited about it and wants to learn new things is definitely a big thing.
Yeah, and continuing to learn.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is primarily what we have. So let me check what questions we have from the audience here. This one's funny. So aren't we replacing ourselves in a way by doing this, guys? Why would we want to coach somebody in the technologies that we sell? I thought that was really funny. Pretty good one there. So who wants to take that?
I've heard that question before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, definitely understand that point of view. What I would say is, so Mastodon was started in 2009. I think, we've grown our expertise over the last 10 years. I said before, we've seen every type of project, every type of situation, every type of person that's going to be joining. What we found is that we really provide the most value when we're working on the most complicated, the most strategic projects and initiatives within an organization, and really focusing on operating as a consulting company in a consulting capacity. So, really at the end of the day, we're most invested in your success. And we believe that when your Appian or Uipath practice grows, because maybe in part due to involvement with Mastodon, but also as your internal expertise grows, Mastodon's going to be right there alongside you and is going to assist and grow with you every step along the way. So I think really we're invested in your success, and we want to focus on those strategic initiatives. And then the other thing that I would, I think I mentioned this before, but Mastodon and Appian and Uipath, they have a release every quarter, and they come out with whole new functionality. They deprecate old functionality. They change things up constantly, and really, Mastodon has a whole program, a whole structure and system set up that fosters that growth of knowledge, and that's through knowledge sharing sessions. That's through honestly, our variety of consultants and resources that get experience from all these different projects that they're on and off. And so, we want to, I guess, we have a whole program that focuses right along with the updating releases, and we want to share that knowledge and continue to evolve that practice in the organization.
Yeah, and I'd like to emphasize too, just, we try and develop partnerships with each of our clients, and a lot of them are going through kind of digital transformation initiatives. When we're able to focus on these strategic initiatives, we can really kick that digital transformation into a higher gear, because we're focusing on this strategic level initiatives, returning value back to the company. But I think the other thing to talk about is that, as consultants, we can't be in every meeting. There's a role to play for internal developers or Appian developers, Uipath developers, and we can facilitate and consult from that capacity. But there is also a need for internal capacity that's very specific, depending on the nature of your business, the type of things that you're dealing with that are only relevant or available to internal developers as well.
Yeah, I mean, we can't be in every meeting room, and it's useful to make sure that our clients can get the most value out of the license that they are paying for, that somebody internally there can be in the meeting room and suggest, hey, I know this technology that might be able to suit the needs. And they can't do that unless they know more about what the technology can do. So yeah, I completely agree. Another question, a very good one too. So I'm gonna go back to the sustainability stream one, because it's about sustainability here. Why do we need a sustainability stream if the initial development meets all the requirements and has no bugs in this perfect world?
Yeah,
what is the value?
I can talk to that one. The thing that Martin talked about in his previous answer, which was, Appian and Uipath are always changing and bringing in new features to their platform. I think a huge value add for having a sustainability stream is taking advantage of these new features that allow for more efficient processes, more efficient applications, allow you to achieve things that you weren't able to achieve because these platforms are evolving so quickly. There might be a new paradigm shift on how particular technologies work and operate, and you want to be able to take advantage of that. And the sustainability stream is there to help incorporate these new features that come out every quarter. I'd say too. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Martin.
No, you might already be answering it, so go ahead.
I'd say too that when you roll out into production, you're getting feedback from your end users, and one of the key insights of an agile iterative process is you get to the MVP point where you're returning value to the customer. What comes next has to be driven by your end users, because they are the ones who are going to give you the best requirements gathering. It's very difficult to come up with all the requirements from here into eternity of what your application will need. You need to have your end users direct you in some way, shape, or fashion about what comes next. And the sustainability stream is there to kind of facilitate that development.
And business processes change constantly, and we encourage that. See 2020. The ability to adapt and have a team that is focused around adapting your current processes for the ever-evolving nature of the world or the ever-evolving nature of your business is an investment, and it's an investment that we believe in what we've seen pays off significantly. So
yeah, like I said before, your project is agile in order to accommodate the change of business, but your business doesn't stop changing just because the project ends. So you need to be able to sustain the value of your project by continuing to evolve it as your business evolves. So yeah, completely agree. One final question that I thought was a great one. So I know we're going to come up on time here, but staffing. How do you staff each of these things, in particular the sustainability stream? And I think maybe going to this overview slide might be a good one for that.
Yeah, I can speak to that one. You start off with your initial project, you've got your project team, it goes into production, and you're ready to start your next project, or you've matured to the point that you want the sustainability stream. It makes a lot of sense to have people that worked on that initial set of projects staff the sustainability stream, because they're familiar with the types of applications, the decisions that went into developing the applications, why features were developed, things of that nature. And so it makes a lot of sense to have, project team members roll onto the sustainability stream. Now, what's great about that is then as your project or program continues to execute on different initiatives, you can now bring in the people that were on sustainability streams to staff future projects. And so that way you're feeding not only the particular knowledge about one project or the other, they now have visibility into the whole production ecosystem and know the decisions that are being made across all the applications, and can bring that knowledge to future projects and really accelerate development and make really informed decisions that are tailored to your business, because they've seen it all. They've seen the things in production, and that can then inform and enhance development on future productions and projects.
Yeah, and it really gels together nicely, not just the teams, kind of having the same, sort of consulting resources jump kind of around to the sustainability stream or back up to another project, but also the code, the format of the application, the user experience really all starts to gel together when you go with this sort of staffing approach. The best practices, the commonalities across the applications, it doesn't make people feel like they're working in 13 different systems. It makes them feel like they're working in one system with a bunch of different features and applications within that, but really a lot of shared commonalities, shared best practices. So it produces a really nice program.
And on a similar note, it's not just the technical aspects that are organically spread throughout the program. It's also your project methodology processes. So how you run projects, the ceremonies that you conduct, and how you conduct them. If you have this cross-pollination across the various streams, the sticking power of those processes is much greater. And so not only are you having these technical best practices, but the way you run projects becomes consistent, and you're kind of always learning and evolving the processes as they go along, and you've got experience across both sustainability streams and project streams to inform those changes.
Yeah, I think that really the sustainability stream is sort of the backbone of making sure that everything is consistent across the board. I mean, we'll talk more about the Center of Excellence in an upcoming episode of our webinars, but the sustainability stream are the ones implementing not only the project works, and they bring the knowledge, the deep knowledge of each project into the stream with them as they join, but then they also bring the lessons that they learned from seeing things happen in prod to the next thing to prevent issues that could be prevented for next time. So I think so too. Now we have one more question. We're right up on time. See if we have time to answer it, guys. What should my team do to prepare for a project with Mastodon and Appian or Uipath? What should a client do to be prepared?
I think to me, one of the biggest things is, well, first of all, talk to us, call us, and we can help get you started on the right direction. But as you're coming into the project, having the personnel allocated and the SMEs ready to go and to engage on Sprint Zero. So Sprint Zero is our project initiation. Having people dedicated to that project, having the right sponsors that are engaged on the particular initiative is very important, because as I mentioned, we're trying to develop a partnership, and we need staff and subject matter experts from your side to be fully engaged. So have them ready and available during that, especially throughout the life of the project, but particularly during our Sprint Zeros is very important, and really sets the whole program up for success if they're available and able to contribute to each of those Sprint Zeros.
Yeah, I would also say that we actually have a whole separate webinar on preparing for your digital transformation journey that may have some answers to. So between those two things, please call us. We're happy to walk you through it. And of course, we want to make sure that you're successful from the very beginning. And planning for sustainability and coaching early on is a great idea when starting off. But definitely check out that other webinar too. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Nick and Martin. I really appreciate it. It's a great conversation. I think I said it in my LinkedIn. I'm very passionate about this topic. Probably could talk for hours on it. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes, I love it. I love it. But anyways, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And anyone who's listening in, please do keep in touch. Add us on LinkedIn, check out our YouTube channel. We have a new webinar every month. So, thank you.